I really can't believe what happened today because it's summertime and I'm working on the outdoor lights. That must be a first. Either way, the other day we had some guy out digging some trenches because we need to get some cables under the ground. And as we say when we're electricians, the more work we can give to others, the better. Either way, this up here is actually a hidden lamp and we need to pull some power from this all the way out through all of these conduits which have now been cut. That's because we need to pull the wires, and as you can see, yep, that's the first wire already done. The customer has bought the lights themselves and it was some strange low power voltage. That meant we both need to pull cables for the lights and also a cable for the sensor. The job itself of pulling the wires went very smoothly because the conduits on the ground were straight, so that's always nice. Now the black cables are running between each lights, but the white cable is the sensor light which needs to go uncut all the way down to the house. So that's why we're just going up and down, because it needs to be coming down to the sensor. And the lights themselves simply just connect to this weird system. Yep, it's all IP67 rated, so we can just put that under the ground. But yeah, not long after we had wires in all of the conduits and it was time to remove the old outdoor lighting. So I opened up this glass panel and inside I could see this little light here, which I just unscrewed the bulb, and I quickly realized there's not a lot of working space in here, but that's how it is. Now this is a very old light fixture and we have some very old flat-headed screws that were luckily not broken enough so I could actually get everything out. And then it was time to remove the old wirings because, yep, the old wire needed to be removed. I've already told that. And while the apprentice was working hard, I made a costly mistake. Yeah, on the other side we had this glass that could not be moved and I had to work around it and yeah, I destroyed it. I wonder if I could just let the customer know it was already like that. The reason I destroyed the glass is because we have this massive driver box and I needed to pull the wires in through the old lighting. Now because the Danish laws are very strict, I could not just cut this head off. That meant I had to pull this head around the glass without actually cutting this massive head off. And yeah, upon drilling the hole, I hit the glass and, well, I broke it. Luckily, the apprentice had a better day because he had already put the first 4 lights down while I was struggling. Once again, because we can't do anything but just work around the length of the wires, we also had this weird little area here which did not look very good. That is once again because, yeah, we need to get these 2 cables put together and there's no way around it other than doing like this, which is a little bit dumb. Luckily, I had a little fixture for that, and because the walls is getting painted, this was a very lovely job and you pretty much can't see it once it's painted. Either way, as the day was coming to an end, we hit overtime, baby. That's because we needed to turn off this entire massive fuse panel. Why? Well, we needed to run a new power cable all the way into this washing machine, whatever thing that needed some power. And while the apprentice was pulling another smaller cable, I started preparing the bigger one. Now the cable size itself is not the issue, but I'll show the issue in a second. While I was working inside this confusing box, the apprentice was pulling the cables into the fuse panels. The apprentice sure did a nice job and it was time to put the cables into the circuit breakers themselves. While the apprentice was doing a little bit of tidying up, I had the job of putting names on all of the circuit breakers. But why is it we can't work with all of this turned on? Because it's turned on right now. Well, that's because of these bad boys in here. Yeah, I'm not sure of the English name of these bad boys, but basically if you touch these, you won't touch much more in your life. And we need to remove this fat old cable from this current circuit breaker, and I'm just too scared to do that while this is turned on. Some people would just do it anyway, but if I die by touching that, well, then it's not gonna be worth it, and the apprentices don't even mess around with these things. So we proceeded to turn off all of the circuit breakers and go down and hit the main switch. Down here we have 3-phase 125 amps, and with everything turned off, it was time to remove the old wire, and like I expected, it was not an easy job. But don't worry, we got there in the end, and with that it was time for me to say in Danish, put the power back on, baby, and that's what we did. Finally, we could just turn all of the fuses back on again, so we had some power in the house. The reason I turned everything off before turning on the main breaker is simply because we don't want that massive load to just hit out of nowhere. Finally, the people working inside this box could be very happy because we had now supplied them with the power they were desperately asking for. And with that, I just want to say thank you all very much for watching.